Hi, this is Neil Son Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Buy some silver and some platinum. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. This report is another report about basically it comes down to South Africa, but it's more about Elon Musk in South Africa because like Elon Musk is South African, born in South Africa. So it's interesting this report about Elon Musk saying, well, let's see here. Let me get this set up for you guys and let you hear it from the man himself. This is from New African Channel, and it's about 10-15 minutes ago. Let's see what they have to say.
In a recurring trend of overlooking his homeland, Elon Musk has once again stirred controversy, this time by reiterating that Tesla will not set its wheels on South African soil. Despite the presence of at least two variants of Tesla's Model X on local soil, one notably owned by renewable energies firm Rubicon, the much anticipated official market debut in South Africa has once again been swept off the floor. Tesla's absence from the South African market persists due to the government's imposition of high import duties, a stance reinforced by Tesla CEO Elon Musk in response to a query from Ziad Mohon on X. Import duties are super high in South Africa to protect the domestic industry, Musk stated candidly. He further elucidated that the prohibitive nature of these import duties makes it economically unviable for Tesla to enter the South African market, especially considering the absence of local manufacturing for electric cars. Doesn't make sense for Tesla, given that electric cars are not locally made. This wasn't the first time Musk explained that import taxes discouraged Tesla from launching in South Africa. Elon Musk's recent assertion about high import duties hindering Tesla's entry into the South African market echoes sentiments expressed as early as 2019. Responding to a similar question on Twitter back then, Musk conveyed the company's desire to launch in South Africa, but pointed out that the exorbitant import duties posed a significant barrier. This recent announcement adds to the ongoing saga of unanswered questions surrounding Musk's reluctance to invest in his birth nation. Notably,
Okay, first off, there's two things that he's not telling you. First thing is they have power issues and they don't have the electricity. They're cutting off 50% of their country from power so that the other 50% can have it. Rolling blackouts just to keep the country going. The palladium and platinum and rhodium miners have already felt the effect of this for well over a year and a half. And another thing he's not telling you is there's an American trade deal with African nations that are on a prosperous democratic route for reforming their country, giving their people civil rights, all this other stuff. And they have no taxes and tariffs on them. So therefore, they don't tax or tariff our stuff. So the fact that Elon Musk is getting taxed and tariffed to heck and back from South Africa tells me that they are not on the list of American countries listed on the African Free Trade Agreement, for which, however, 40, 30, however many countries there are in Africa, most of them want to get on that list because it benefits their economy not having to pay duties, fees, and taxes when trading with America. So apparently, South Africa is not a good place to invest because they're not on that list, which means that American companies, American government, even though our administration sucks right now, our policies for that trade agreement we have with African countries, it's on hold. I did a video on that. It's Biden put on hold for a year to renegotiate it, but they're still extended the old treaty for a year while they're renegotiating. But they don't have to pay taxes, tariffs, and fees when dealing with America, and that's how they get a lot of the business. Also, they don't tax or tariff in return, and it's like a free trade agreement, kind of sorta, with extras put in there for whatever, it's a complicated legal issue, I'm sure. But there's that going on for South Africa, and also the fact that if you look right here, that right there requires electrical power. So if they're going to use electric power to power their cars, That means several houses and businesses won't get that electricity because South Africa doesn't produce enough and does not have the infrastructure set up to even run 100% of the housing and businesses that they have in their country don't even have electricity 24/7. They have it 50% of the time. So an electric vehicle company, car company down there would be redundantly stupid because of the way the South African government has been running their country for the past 13 years, ever since they joined BRICS. But I've done stories on that as well. I suggest you research what's happened to South Africa since China courted them and they got in BRICS in 2010. They've been going the wrong direction, but the economic war has been going on for a while. Back to the rest of the story.
Last year saw Tesla's foray into the African market with a launch in Morocco, triggering widespread queries about Musk's selective approach to his home country. A recent analysis by My Broadband has shed light on the significant tax implications associated with importing Tesla's vehicles to South Africa. Importing a Tesla Cybertruck, priced at around $68,000, including VAT, could incur an additional $32,000 in taxes, according to the analysis. Trade and Industry Minister Ibrahim Patel unveiled the government's policy paper on electric vehicles on December 4, 2023. The policy outlines South Africa's intention to use $8.8 billion in climate funding from wealthy nations to support the development of electric vehicles domestically. However, as of now, these incentives have not been put into effect. Despite the absence of incentives, numerous brands have chosen to import their electric cars to South Africa, with 27 distinct fully electric cars available for sale at the end of December, and 11 more expected to launch in the coming year. This raises the question of why other manufacturers are willing and able to introduce their electric vehicles to the South African market, while Tesla refrains from doing so. Industry sources cited by My Broadband explain that varying import duties are applied to cars depending on their origin. Notably, cars imported from China face lower taxes compared to those imported from Europe. While Elon
And I have something to say about that as well. That's because of the deal. They're in BRICS. China quartered South Africa in BRICS because they wanted to dump all their shit onto South Africa. The only problem is, and I, along with several other people, have done stories on EVs blowing up because they're, especially ones from China, especially ones made in China. And South Africa puts the least amount of tax and tariff only on the EV cars coming from China, which is kind of sort of, if you look at the long term and you're a politician, it's a self destructive move for your country. At the time, though, you gain great political churadas, whatever, hooray for you. But, in a couple of years when they start blowing up and tearing up your infrastructure of your country because China doesn't know how to make electric cars sufficiently, you're going to be screwed. So long term, it doesn't look good for South Africa. Just from that report there, they higher taxes and tariffs on the Western brand electric vehicles, lower taxes and tariffs only on the Chinese electric vehicles. South Africa will be bankrupt very soon because once those electric vehicles start blowing up and they can't sue China and all this other stuff, it's going to be a mess. It'll take about 2 years, but it'll be a mess. Unlike crypto, things don't happen in the real world overnight. Back to the story.
Musk's statement about high import duties in South Africa remains accurate, the broader context reveals the intricate dynamics influenced by varying tax structures and the absence of implemented incentives for electric vehicle manufacturers. Tesla's debut in Africa in 2021 marked the establishment of the first 2 supercharger stations in Morocco, a move met with both excitement and disappointment. Musk's repeated promises to bring Tesla to South Africa have yet to materialize, leaving many to wonder about the disconnect between the visionary entrepreneur and his roots. Born in Pretoria, South Africa,
All right, we don't need to know.
and a white
We don't need to know about any of this. And by the way, that guy's racist. He had to bring the fact up that he was born to a white South African father rather than just a South African father. So that leads you to understand a little bit more of the culture in South Africa and how they're pushing the anti-hate or the pro-hate thing, because the gentleman mentioned it was his white South African father. He's South African. We don't say, well, actually, I guess we do say Black Americans, and that's stupid. You're freaking Americans. But anyhow, that's a larger issue of the race problem that I will not delve into because it is so entangled with bullshit. You guys have a nice day. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, be kind, helpful, and grateful. And I have been putting out a link for a platinum, 1 ounce platinum. And I will have a link for Ninja's real estate courses at 75% off. I've got to get that set up. I'll have that on my show here shortly as well. Until next time, you guys have a good evening. Bye-bye. I said bye-bye.